Okay, everyone, we have a couple of lead sheets that are big classical blockbusters. And I use the word classical meaning art music, but they're really both from the Romantic period. So Dvorak, you can see he died right after the turn of the century. And he came to the United States and I believe he was here for about a year or so, and he lived in Michigan part of the time, but he traveled around a lot. And he was inspired by some spirituals that he heard down south. And this is actually lifted from a spiritual folk song that he heard. And it's a gorgeous, slow movement to his New World Symphony. New World meaning the United States at that time was considered still the New World. Okay, so let's try the melody. We're in D major. So find a D 5-finger pattern, and I have really good news. It never moves out of a 5-finger pattern, so it's quite easy. Ready, and 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 2, 3, 4. So I don't know if you recognize it, but it is a truly beautiful movement. Give it a listen if you have time, if you haven't heard it before, or even if you just want to hear what instrument is playing the melody. I believe it's an English horn, big solo at the opening. Okay, I picked this because it has an augmented triad in measure 6, D augmented. So it's D, D augmented, which then has these two half steps that are sliding up. So that's also a really common way to go to a 4-chord augmented into a 4-chord, because it just wants to slide up. Those half steps act like double leading tones. But the rest of it is just very simple 1, 4, 5. Let's try it together. Ready, and 1 and 2. You can add a little pedal if you like. Raise the 5th. And it goes on, there's a B section. It's really a gorgeous piece. Let's take a look now at Tchaikovsky, who is also, Dvorak, by the way, was from, at that time called Bohemia. I think it would be Czechoslovakia, modern day Czechoslovakia. Tchaikovsky he's Russian, very famous. I'm sure you've all heard of Swan Lake. This became really famous in my class a few years back when there was a movie called Swan Lake. It's really, again, a beautiful piece. I picked it because it has a C diminished chord. So if you think C major, C minor, C diminished in measure 3. So we're going from A minor to C diminished, D minor, A. So very dark, typical dark, gloomy Russian chords. So go ahead and let's play the melody, because I think you'll all recognize it. So it starts out in an A minor 5-finger pattern, and then in measure 3, move it down to an F position, and then back up. The upbeat into measure 5 will bring you back to A minor, and then you do that same move down at the end of the piece. So it's just kind of A minor-ish F position. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now move down. 5, 3, 1, 5, 3. Put your 4 on D. And move down again. Okay, so left hand is just mostly 1, 4, and then the C diminished. So let's try this. Ready, and 4 chord. Here comes the C diminished. Move up. And 4 chord. C diminished. Some of you might want to experiment with, breaking that up. Or roll chords. Just to create a little bit more drama or suspense. This would be a good candidate for jump bass. You can just take the bass note that you see here. So go to C. Or because those are quick changes, I'd probably recommend just rolling to keep it simpler. But sky's the limit. Do what you like and experiment a little bit.